So let's talk about the most straightforward image upload process in XNAT, which uses the compressed uploader found in the UI. I'm logged in and I go to Upload, Images, Compressed Uploader in the top navigation. On this page I've got two very simple tasks. I select a project to upload to, and then I point to a zip archive on a locally mounted drive. You'll notice there's also a choice of whether to upload to the archive or the pre-archive. Each project has its own preference here, and you normally will not want to override it. So then I click Begin Upload. In a matter of moments, the session has been imported. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. In order to process incoming image sessions, XNAT needs to know what kind of data it is and where it belongs. The first thing that happens for any incoming session when it hits the XNAT server is that a session importer is triggered to handle it. The compressed uploader uses a very basic one of these, and it has a very generic name, Session Importer. This importer knows that we'll be receiving a zipped image session and a destination project already defined. So first, it unpacks the zip archive in a temporary directory to view the completed image session. And then it reads the DICOM to determine what type of session it is, MR, PET, CT, etc. And it tries to find a subject identifier. Then, using the DICOM values found in the project variable provided in the upload UI, an initial XML representation of the session is created. This is not saved in Postgres, however. It gets stored as a resource in the pre-archive alongside of the uploaded session files. Then, as the session is stored in the pre-archive, the first round of DICOM anonymization is performed. This is called the site-wide anon script, and it gets applied to every incoming DICOM formatted image session. It can be edited or disabled in the admin UI by a site administrator. In the pre-archive, the session builder is run, and the session resource files are cataloged and stored in a time-stamped folder in the pre-archive. At this point, we say that the session is available in the pre-archive. That's our official XNAT parlance. And it basically just means that it's ready to be moved into the archive. To move a session out of the pre-archive and into the archive, XNAT invokes the archive service. As a part of the archive service, another anonymization script, this one specific to the project, is applied to the DICOM files and XML metadata, rewriting and recoding as needed. At this point, the session XML is ready to store in Postgres. But first, XNAT compares your session against the other sessions in the archive, looking to see if another session with identical identifiers already exists. And if so, it'll try to merge your upload with the existing session. In doing so, your original scan files will either be overwritten or added onto. Each project can set its own preference in terms of handling merged scan files. So let's go back to the session we just uploaded and walk through this process. Depending on your project settings, a session will either be automatically archived, or it'll stay in the pre-archive in a holding pattern until somebody manually reviews it and archives it. That's the case for this QC review project that I've just uploaded to. You can see here, the compressed uploader has already given us a helpful link to the session in the pre-archive. We can also go there at any time we like to see all the uploaded sessions that are waiting for our approval. In the top navigation, we click on Upload, go to Pre-archive. And here's our uploaded session, along with a few others. You can see I've got sessions for multiple projects here, each of which I have access to. You can't see, just like anything else in XNAT, I wouldn't be able to see sessions in the pre-archive for projects that I did not have access to. When a session is held in the pre-archive, it can be examined for PHI and data quality by any project user, and can either be deleted or moved into the archive. And you might be thinking, hey, project members and collaborators can't delete project data. And you would be right. But since this session hasn't been archived yet, it isn't officially considered project data. The thinking here is that being able to clear out a malformed session is a valuable part of the review process, and that this job could and should be delegated to people outside of just project owners. So here in the pre-archive, I can click Details with a selected session to preview the XNAT representation of the session. I can see the DICOM files themselves. I can view images. And I can take a look at the DICOM tags as well. We'll focus more on reviewing DICOM data in our talk on anonymization. So for now, I'm going to close this. I can also modify the session label, and the subject it gets assigned to. During the import process, XNAT takes its best guess in terms of labeling your session and assigning a subject if those aren't already defined. But in this menu here, I can reassign those as needed. Then finally, I can manually archive the session, which takes just a few moments. So not every project needs this pre-archive step. You can set your preference in the Manage Project menu, right here, and define pre-archive settings. You'll see two choices here, well, three choices. The current one, where we're storing sessions in the pre-archive to be manually reviewed. And you'll see two choices in your auto-archiving options that dictate your session merge preferences as well. But I'm going to leave this project the way it is. Conveniently, there's another setting right nearby that allows you to manage your project-specific anon script. So once your archiving process is complete, the session archived event is fired, and any automations that are triggered by that event will also run. An example of this is the auto-run pipeline for snapshot generation. So once your session is archived, it can appear in index search results, or be available for processing, or be downloaded by project users. None of these things can happen for uploaded image sessions until archiving is complete. So that's a simple process. In our next talk, we'll take a look at a more complex process of importing sessions from packs.